Hey everyone, and welcome to the Nitrorcx tutorials channel. Today we're going to show you how to maintain your clutch system on your Nitro vehicle. Usually it's the first item to go bad on your system, so it'd be a good idea to inspect it, maintain it, and keep it in good condition to ensure reliable performance from your engine. So let's get to it. Alright, I'm going to go over the tools that you need to do this job. First off is a 2.5mm wrench for the nut that holds everything together. Now some people just use a wrench to clamp the flywheel so that they can unscrew the nut. If you'll notice, when I'm trying to unscrew the nut, the whole assembly is moving. So you want to stop the flywheel from moving or block the piston. I like to block the piston, and there's a nifty tool that we sell on Nitrorcx.com. I like to call it the piston tool. It's made by EXI. The tip is plasticky so it doesn't damage the top of your piston. Basically, you remove the glow plug, put this in there so it blocks the piston from moving, so it makes removing that nut a lot easier. So since I'm using this method, I'll need this EXI tool, and I will need a standard cross wrench found in most starter kits. If you don't have a cross wrench, you can find any 8mm socket to remove that glow plug. I also have replacement bearings here. These are 5 by 10 millimeter bearings with 4mm width. These are perfect for these clutch bells. We also sell these replacement bearings on Nitrorcx.com. And we have the engine here. This is a .16 Nitro engine, VX16, found on most Nitrorcx 1/10 scale vehicles. This procedure will also apply to the .18 engines, VX18 engines. So let's go ahead and inspect the clutch. If your clutch is bad and you spin it, or if your clutch is bad and you're trying to drive it, it may not engage smoothly or it'll feel sluggish. If it's really bad and jammed, your clutch bell may also be seized. If your bearings are bad and you spin the bell, you'll hear grimy sounds. It'll be grimy, it won't be smooth. In some cases, you'll see pieces missing from it. The inner race is gone. It's loose and the bearing balls are all gone, so that's a bad sign. You definitely want to replace your bearings before it goes bad. That way it doesn't damage any other parts while it's in your car. If your bearings do go bad and your clutch bell goes loose, you can also strip your center transmission gears because the mesh will be all wrong. So let's go ahead and open it up and take a closer look. One thing I want to mention before you open everything up is to note the position of the washers and the play. There should be very little play, but it shouldn't be too tight. You'll see just a slight amount of play on that clutch bell, and it spins nice and smoothly. Sometimes if you put the washers on incorrectly, it'll pinch the inner or outer race, preventing the bell from spinning nicely, even if you have good bearings in there. So make mental note of that before you take it apart. That way when you put it back together, it'll be nice and smooth. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take off that glow plug so I can insert the tool. I'm going to go ahead and do that. Alright, clutch bell or glow plug is out. I'm going to plug in my piston locking tool. I do want to put the piston at bottom dead center so that I can insert this tool. Basically just screw that in and ensure that it doesn't move anymore. Go ahead and grab the 2.5mm wrench and unscrew that nut. Alright, I have the nut out here. I have my washers here, 3 of them, and I'm going to remove that clutch bell. Notice there's 2 bearings. There's one up here and one in the back. There's also washers in the back. Make note of that. And another bearing in the back here, inside the clutch bell. Go ahead and poke that out. Alright, almost out. Give it a light tap. There it is. Both washers are out, or both bearings are out. This is when you can check for smoothness. If they're still smooth, you can reuse them or replace them. I like to replace them after a couple of runs. Next thing you want to check is your clutch shoe. This is your clutch shoe. So you can see this clutch shoe is still fairly new. If it's well used, you'll see rub marks here, wear marks. In some cases they'll melt if you don't have it set up right. If you burn your clutch and you'll see a discoloration on the clutch bell where it's all purple and blue, usually you've overheated your spring, it's lost its strength, and it's not going to perform at its best. So if you do that, we are going to have a video that shows you how to change your clutch shoes. Basically, this is a quick inspection. This looks good. I'm going to show you guys how to replace the bearings and reinstall the clutch bell. So let's say your bearings are bad. There's bearing blasters out there. You can re-oil them with bearing oil, get them back up to smooth running. These are new bearings, so I'm just going to pop them in. Remember, it's one on the front, one on the back. Remember that there's a washer on this nut, the retaining nut. I'm going to drop that washer back on there. Throw the clutch bell back on. I don't know if you can get this, but notice how the shaft is sticking out above the bearing, which is good. If somehow you build your clutch and the bearing's above the shaft, you want to remove the spacer. That way, when you put on the nut, it's not pinching your bearing, it's pinching the shaft. I'm going to go ahead and put these washers back on. Earlier I made mental note of where these washers go. And basically screw it all back together. Probably be a good idea to use Loctite on this nut so that it doesn't fly off after you install it or when you're running it. Go ahead and torque that down, make sure it's nice and tight, because you do not want it to fly off when you're running. Alright, after I've tightened it, I like to spin it, make sure it's spinning nice and smooth, check the play, and you're good to go. Alright guys, so that was a quick tutorial on how to inspect your clutch shoes and replace your clutch bell bearings. If you keep those items maintained and in good condition, you'll ensure the most performance out of your Nitro engine. So thanks for watching guys, and stay tuned for more tutorial videos on Nitrorcx.com.